morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this seminar about the new features of CYPE Connect Steel. My colleague is with me, Afonso. Hello, Afonso.
Hello, Marta. Good morning.
Good morning. He's the civil engineer, and he works in the digital marketing department in CYPE software. And my name is Marta Franca. Maybe you know me already, but just in case. And the business development for CYPE Steel products. You can see my email address here, marta.franca@cype.com. Just in case you need to send me an email asking any questions, or if you want more information about any of the products we have, and of course about CYPE Connect Steel. And this is where you can download CYPE Connect Steel from our BIMserver.center that I'm going to show you in a minute. First of all, I wanted to start with showing you the website where you can find our webinars that we are doing at the moment. These are we started on the 20th of July and we'll finish the 28th. These are a series of webinars about a few things. The first one was the 20th of July, as I said, about the BIM Essentials by CYPE. If you go here, you can watch that webinar. If you missed it, you can watch it again. We have it in different languages, English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. So you just click on watch and it will open in YouTube. And today we are here, July 27th, and we are going to show you the new features of CYPE Connect Steel. If you want to see it again, you can come back to this website, and today it says join, but in a few days, maybe tomorrow or the day after, it will say view as in here, watch, sorry. So you can watch it again if you want. And it's, of course, again, in different languages, in English, in French, and in Spanish. And I wanted to introduce you to the one we have for tomorrow, which is about the new features in CYPE. And it'll be at 9 a.m., the same as today, in English. And then we have the one in French and in Spanish as well. And again, you can join from here. Or if you want to, if you don't know how to find it, just send me an email and I'll send you the link. Okay? So now I'm going to show you where to download CYPE Connect Steel. So first you have to go to BIMserver.center, our platform where we keep all the software. And you go to store. And then in the store, you just search for CYPE Connect Steel or any of our products. And it will show here. Then you open it. And you can download it from here. Okay? I will send you the link as well, anyway, through the chat, and as well as my email address. Today, my colleague, Afonso, is going to show you the new features, as we said from the beginning, of CYPE Connect Steel. And he's going to go through these new features. He's going to show you a new interface, which is very nice. He's going to show you the viewing options within the software, the connection management in the 3D view of the structure, the connections library. This is very important. People have been asking for this feature, so it's very important for us. Is how to import and export connections that you already made, or if you want to save, if you use a connection very often, you can save it and use it in the same project or in different projects. Then he's going to show you a connection summary report and the optimization of analysis time, which has been improved on an average of 30%. It will reduce the time of analyzing by 30%. And he's going to show you the exporting connections to the BIM model. So I'm going to pass the demando to you. That was Spanish, sorry. So, Afonso,
so
it's your turn, yeah.
Okay, let me see here. How can I share my screen? Maybe you can see my screen at this moment.
Yeah, you're sharing already. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, Marta. I would like to say that probably this version is this new release. It's very impressive because maybe some of our assistants doesn't know, but we launched this application just 3 or 4 months ago. So this is the new version, 22 version, 2022 version. But this program, CYPE Connect Steel, was launched just 3 or 4 months ago, and this release have a lot of new features, especially on the new interface with new tools that I'm sure that will be very useful for someone that is designing steel connections. So yeah, I'm impressive with the velocity that this application is developing, and I'm sure in the next releases during the 2022 version we'll have more and more features and more surprises like those that we will see today, because the software is alive and we are increasing the tools that we have here. Okay. First, I would like to show you the new interface. We will see with details which things changed here. Okay, but I would like to show you this model here. Okay, this is gonna be our example today. Okay, here we can see a mix of an analytical model with lines and nodes, and then we can see the connections here in the analytical models. Okay. But this information wasn't here in the beginning. So there are different ways to import information, to import the structural model here or the analytical model of our structure here in CYPE Connect Steel to then analyze the connections or to design the connections. Okay. And before we really start with this software, the new features of this software, I would like to show you how the information flowed from one software to another, which was the start of this project. That could be one workflow that you could use in your projects. Okay. In this case, we are talking about an open BIM workflow. Okay, so we are working just with IFC files, just with an open BIM approach. Okay, and I could say that we started with an architectural model. So like this one. Okay, an architectural model that was developed with according to the IFC standard. In this case, we used CYPE Architecture, a free tool that we have here at CYPE to develop architectural models. Okay. And using the BIMserver.center system, okay, or the BIMserver.center ecosystem, let's say that, we could send information from one software, in this case, the architectural software, to other softwares, for example, in this case, to calculate the steel structure or to analyze the steel structure that will be under the layers of the architectural model. And then in a third step, we can send this analytical model or this structural model calculated to CYPE Connect Steel to calculate the joints, the connections. All right. So here with the system, we can feedback all the softwares, all the previous steps with information, with more developed information. And in this case, for example, I created some layers or some views here, just with the architecture, for example, or just with the structure. Let's deactivate here, for example, the guarding. This structure, for example, was calculated using CYPE-CAD. Okay, this steel structure calculated with CYPE-CAD. But here you cannot see the details of the connections. It's just the analysis of the bars, the elements of our structure. Okay, so with CYPE-CAD we calculated that, but we didn't calculate the connections. But then I have a third layer of information that is structure plus connections, and here you can see those detailed connections like this one. And of course they were calculated, they were designed according to a code, and that was made using CYPE Connect Steel. Okay, how the information was how can I say, information was sent from one software to another using these buttons here. Okay, export and update. It's just like that. It's very simple, just exporting information from the architectural model that then was imported in the software used to calculate the structure, and then export it again and import it at CYPE Connect Steel, where we can calculate the connections, okay? That's the workflow that we can use. We can do that with different kind of softwares, not just with CYPE softwares. You can use other softwares that generate IFC files, okay? And you can use more than one software to calculate the structure. Not just CYPE-CAD, could be, for example, Strubbing CYPE 3D, for example, or any other software that can calculate structures and export IFC files, okay? Coming back here to CYPE Connect Steel, you can see that the information is pretty similar. Actually, it's the same information here. The only difference is that here we can see the bars here. We can see the elements in this light blue color, but that's just a filter, just a way to show the information. For example, if we edit here, we can see, for example, the whole structure in exactly in the original colors, okay? And in CYPE Connect Steel, we have the same situation, okay? That's one of the new features that we have here in CYPE Connect Steel in the 2022 version. Using this button here, okay, we have the view options. And one of the options that we have here is to represent just the axis of our analytical model or the real 3D model with the real sections. Just accepting here, we'll see the real model here with the bars represented in the real size. Okay, this button here is one of the new features that we have. We have this option to represent the bars, and we can also draw the connections or not. For example, here I can deactivate the connections, and we'll see just the bars. Okay, here we cannot see the connections, but when we click here, we can represent those connections in that model. Okay, these kind of features, they are part of this new interface that we have in the software. As you can see here, I can move the structure. I can rotate this structure, but I can also click in one of these connections. And when I click on these connections, I can highlight this connection in this list. Okay, so this list in the previous version, it was the only way to navigate between the different nodes of our structure. So in the previous versions, to select one specific node of our structure, it was necessary to search this node navigating on this list by clicking in one node and another and another. But now you can do the reverse direction too. You can click on the node here on the structure, and we will highlight it here on the list. That's it's a simple change, but that's much easier to work. Okay, that this new system is much. Yeah, it's you increase your productivity just using this kind of this kind of tool. Okay. Another thing that is very interesting here, and I think deactivating the bars here using just the axis of our analytical model is going to be easier to show, is the possibility to select the bars that are related to one node. For example, I will do something here. Let's suppose this node was not generated like it's now. Okay, if we have this kind of pyramid here, this triangle, it means that we have a connection here. That's the program found a connection between three elements, and then we can design and check this node. But let's suppose we don't have this situation, because the node it was too complex, or because it was necessary to change something in our project. I don't know. Let's suppose we don't have that. To do that, for example, we can delete this node that was. Let's suppose we don't have that node, but we have these three bars and this point that is common between those three bars. We can use this tool here, okay, to select the bars that are related to that node. And by using the right click of your mouse, you can accept and then generate one new node with those bars. Okay, so that is very interesting, because in the previous versions, it was impossible to select the bars that are related to a node. It was something automatic, but it was not so flexible like now. And now you can create this by selecting bars. Okay, you can select one by one like this. Okay, or you can select using a window. So like this, for example, you can select all the bars that are related to this node. In some kinds, maybe you have to calculate one connection using maybe just these bars, and then another one, maybe, I don't know, using just these bars. Maybe you must split your connection in different sections, or in some situations, it will be necessary to join everything in the same connection. It depends on the criteria that you have, but now you have the flexibility to do that. You have these options to create new nodes and delete nodes that were created before, okay? And also, of course, delete something that was made by mistake, for example, okay? So this is part of our new interface. Another thing that I think it's interesting here is that we can see the status of each connection, both in our list. For example, here we have some connections that are on the green status. It means they were designed and checked according to a specific code, and some of them that are not okay. So here we have some problem. We must design it, or it wasn't according to the code. So we have a problem here. This list is one option to check the status of our nodes. Okay, by here, sorry, here you can list. You can change the names of this nodes by clicking here and changing the name of this node. So you can create your own criteria to define the names of these nodes. But when we activate this button here, okay, we can show these symbols on the project too. Okay, by clicking here, we can show or hide the same status that we have here on the project. So when you finish your design, your connection design, the main objective of our work here, it will be to don't have any symbol like this yellow symbols here. Okay, so if you work well and finish the design here, in the end you don't have warnings like this, and this big warning will not be here too. So it's one way to know that all the connections are finished, were calculated. Okay, so that's very useful too. All right. So the interface and new features here in the interface. We have these options to represent in different ways our structure. We have the possibility to click on the list or click on the node. We can select bars to create a node, and we have here also a 3D view of this node. Of course, we can open this on the designer on the edition menu and see much more than this. But here you also have this option to check that if it's the node that you are looking for without needing to zoom or to opening the edition menu. Okay. Mm-hmm. Talking about the new the edition menu, we also have changes here. Okay. For example, let's open one that is already designed. For example, this one here. We can select the list or here, and then click on this button here, the edition menu, and here is the place where we create our connections. Here we will apply different steps or different how can I say, operations to add the different elements that we need to define this connection. Okay.
Alfonso, is the icon on top of the list where you need to click? The little icon, that one.
No, I think yeah, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, so here we have the same connection here. Okay, and some operations were done to generate the plates, some adjustments, generate the different welds that we have here. Also the bolts. Okay, these bolts or these plates have some geometry, different operations to generate this connection. I invite you to look in our previous webinars where we have more information about these operations, and we have some examples showing how to create different connections. Okay, I will ask to Marta if you can just leave the link on the chat to our assistants, where the assistants can see our last webinars. Unfortunately, in this presentation, we will not see how to create these connections, but it's basically created with different operations that are related with these buttons here. So you can add reference plans, you can add new sections, you can add plates, you can adjust or trim those sections, you can add bolts, welds, openings, anchors. Okay, so here you have these operations, and you can combine it to design your connection. Okay. Once this connection is designed, you'll probably have this same type of connection in different parts of your structure, or maybe in different projects on your company, on your work. Okay, and that is a new feature that we have here on the 2022 version. We have the new library, new connections library, where you can export all these operations, export this connection to your own library that you can save in your hard disk. You can share this information, for example, with your team, or you can use this information in a new project. So just clicking here on export, you can create a new type of connection. For example, let's suppose this is the type T. I don't know, I'm just adding a reference here. So I can create that, and then this connection, it will be available in my library. So for example, if I decide to import now, I will have a list of the connections that I have in this computer, and the type T, for example, it's here. Okay, so here is the type T, and here I have other connections that I've created before working on other projects. Okay, connections that I thought they would be useful because they are very common and they are very normal in most of the projects that I work, for example. Okay, at this moment, I will not import again because I'm in the same connection yet, but then we can select a new node and import the same connection. You see that in a few minutes. Okay, but here, if we open the connections library here, you have the same situation, but you have these buttons here. Okay, with these buttons, we can do some, we can send this information, for example, to save it on our computer. We can import other connections that are not in this project, that were not generated here now with this project. For example, from a previous version, you can use this button here to look in on the folders of your computer to load these connections, and you can do the same to export this connection to your computer with this button here. Okay, so this is how we manage our library. This is how we save this information in our computer. You always have the 3D viewer where you can see the details of your connection to be sure that that's the last version or the right one. So you always have this kind of features. It's the same system that we have in all the windows that we have on the on-site programs with different projection systems. We can put it on transparent, and you can also export this information in DWG, DXF, JPG, PNG with different resolutions, for example. So that's very, very, very interesting. Okay. All right. Let's see how this library works, importing this same connection in another node, for example. Okay, so I'm here inside of this node. I will accept the changes, although I don't have changes here. I think it was this node here, but let's suppose this one is the same one. Okay, I will do something here. I will delete this guy here. I will do the whole process here. I will delete the previous connection. I don't have anything here, just 3 bars or 2 bars here. So I'll create a new connection using this button here, selecting these bars. My new connection is going to be my new connection. Okay. So let's open here. We could change the profiles here, the reference of the sections. For example, this one is V1 and V2, for example. Let's suppose we want to add a new name here. We can change this information. We can change the material, the rotation. Although this is the information that came from the structural model, and I want to use the same information, I will just accept that. Okay. Let's wait it.
It's loading.
Yeah, I think I'm working with too many softwares in my computer at this moment. But yeah, here we have our our node, okay? And then let's add the connection here. So to do that, I will just click here. Sorry, it was here. And then we have here the situation that we must solve. You can see here, we don't have any operations, it's empty. To start, we need to create the reference plans, to adjust the sections, but we have our library and we have a similar connection. So we can import that connection here, just using the type T, for example, okay? And let's accept, let's see what happens here. In this side of this window, we have the connection that we have in our library. So this is the connection that we have in our library, okay? And in this side, we have the node that we are solving now, okay? And you can see, in this case, the V2 is here, the V1 is here, like this one, okay? Actually, it's a quite simple connection. In this case, the program knows that the V1 that is in our library, it's equivalent to the V1 that is in our node that we are solving now. And the V2, the same. But you can imagine that in some complex connections, this situation will not be too easy to solve. And in some cases, you must create this correlation here, defining which section of your library is equivalent to the section of your node. Okay, so you can change this information. Of course, if we change it now, it's going to be wrong and it will not work. Okay, but in some cases you have to define and correlate the sections of your library with the sections with your node. Okay, that's very flexible. You can change that. So let's accept and let's see what happens. Oh, we have here. I think it was very easy. We have all the operations here with the same sizes in this case, the sizes that were in our connection from our library. But if were necessary, let's suppose the size of the V1 it's different. Let's suppose we have a higher section, for example. We could change everything here. We could quit the weld. We could change the plates. We can change the number of bolts here. We could change everything here according to the needs that we have to this node. Okay, so we don't have to have the same sections to use exactly the same how can I say, exactly the same node or the same connection of our library. We can try to import something that is similar and then try to adapt and use part of the operations that were created before. Okay, and if it's the case, we can export again with I don't know, like we could say that this is the type T 2, for example, because we have less here with a different solution. Okay, so you can work with that. That's very, very useful, and I think it was one of the features that our users have been waiting during these months. I saw this request a lot of times during the seminars that we made, and we have it here. Okay, the version 20,022A. So from this version, this new feature is available. Okay,
very good.
Regarding to the new features of the 3D model and the library, I think those are the main features that we have here. But I would like to show you some new features regarding to the analysis tab inside of one of the connections. In this case, we changed the connection. We will not calculate that. Let's come back to that connection that is already calculated, just to save a little bit of time. So one of these that are in green state here with the green check, just coming here to the design connection button and jumping from the model that now it's perfect, it's done. Okay, so we already have our model. Let's jump to the analysis tab. And here we can see some of the results of the analysis that was carried out in this connection. The first one, as maybe you know from other presentations, we can see here using this graphics, what's the percentage or the maximum usage of each element of our connection. We can see that those volts in orange color are more used. Let's say that the resistance of these volts are more used than those that are on blue color or the sections that are on green color. So how it works. By changing here, we can see the von Mises stress, for example, and here we can see the concentrations that we have near the bolts here. Okay, so for those elements, we can also adjust this contour maps here, defining, for example, a limit value for minimum and maximum stress. Let's suppose let's suppose that everything that is more than 180 megapascals are in the same color, so we can see a little bit more what is happening here. And this is represented by load case. Okay, so in this case we have two load cases, this and this load cases. These load cases were imported in this case from CYPE, so it was calculated in this the model, how can I say, the global analysis, and through BIMserver.center this information was sent from CYPE to CYPE Connect Steel. Okay, and we can use this information, and by changing here, the situation could be a little bit different in some cases depending on the load case. You can also see the same situation to the equivalent von Mises deformation and also for the displacements. So part of the graphic results that we have here when we analyze one connection with CYPE Connect Steel. Okay, this was something that was, of course, it was part of the first version of the software. But here we have new features on the reports. Okay, so by clicking here on the summary report, we can create different types of reports from now on. The first one, we can generate one report just with the connection components. So by clicking here and accepting, we can see that in this connection we have two sections. They have this section here with these materials, okay, with this steel with these characteristics here. We have one plate. We have here some bolt elements, three of them. Oh, sorry, one of them with these characters here, okay. And then we have some welds. The weld 1 on the front and back, 3 on the front and back, and 2 on the front and back. And we can see this information. You can imagine that you can export all this information to different formats, and you have automatically this list, this summary, to all the connections that you have in your project. So it's very useful to export this information, because here you have a summary about what is happening here. You can extract this information to generate, for example, a bill of quantities, or just to have an idea about the quantities that you have in your project. Okay. You can also check, for example, just the loads like this. Okay, and you can see the results that are related to the bars or the sections that are related with this node to each load case. So here you can see the forces that are in this node, and then you can do the same with the checks. Okay, you can do the same here with the checks, and you can see the results for each component in this case. So elongation of the sections, elongation of the plates. You can see the layout of the bolts, the distance between those bolts. You can see the resistance of these bolts. Okay, so the different tensions and shears and the interaction in this case. Okay, you can see the welds here. Okay, the resistance of each weld. And if you want, you can of course combine everything here, selecting all the options here, and have the full report of this connection, combining all the others that we have been seen before. Okay, you can also have a report with the checks that are related to this connection according to the code that you selected before. Okay, so you select a code. We have some codes in our library. We will see in a few moments. And according with the code that you selected, the program have been checking if your connection is according with each parameter of the code, each point of the code. And here you can see for each point what was the result and if it checked or not. Okay, so that's not a new feature, but I think it's one of the most interesting parts of the software, because here you have the documents that prove that your connection is well designed. Okay.
Yes, the useful information is in it.
All right, generating this information, Marta, now it's much more faster than the first version. We have been working on the algorithms to calculate these connections. As you know, we use the OpenSys engine to calculate that, and we have been optimizing this times. So around 30% faster than the first version. So now you have more, you can calculate more connections in less time. Okay, so that's one of the features that we have to this new version 2. Okay. Coming back here, let's suppose we designed it, this connection is okay, we just have to accept, and the information is integrated to our BIM model. Okay, so by just accepting here, we can see the information in our BIM model here, although now we don't see the bars, but it's just because we deactivated here, but we can activate it again. And when we export this model using the button, this button here, that is the same button that I showed before on CYPE Architecture, exporting this information to BIMserver.center. The program will generate an IFC file with the information from this structural model, including the connections. Okay, so we just have to export that, and that's how I can come here to CYPE Architecture and activate then this it was here this layer of information. So it's with this information that we can feedback the project, and then we can imagine we can add more and more layers of our project with other disciplines. I don't know, MEP or any other kind of IFC that is necessary to this project. And then, for example, we could run a clash detection analysis, or represent that on augmented reality, or maybe we can see that on our mobile phone. We have different options that we can do with this graphic information that is now integrated in our BIM model. Okay, so just by accepting those connections that were designed and then exporting the information again to BIMserver.center. Okay. The last thing I would like to show here, it's about the codes. Okay, here we have the list of codes that are available now in the 2022A, so the Euro code, and the EAA 2011. Okay, you can select those connections. But I could say that in the next version, that's going to be the 2022B, that is about to be published. I think maybe in the next days, during maybe the next week, sorry. We'll have a new code here. Okay, so I think this is a good way to show you a little bit about the new features that are coming in this new version. So just here a summary of that. So we'll have the ISKI 36016 code. So maybe that's one of the main features that we have to the 2022B version. We can add stiffeners automatically in the new features. We have a specific button to that. We have more options to view the BIM models. Actually, we'll see not just the structural model inside of CYPE Connect Steel, but also, for example, the CYPE architectural model or any other FC that is in the same folder at BIMserver.center. We can create new joints automatically and add preloaded bolts. Okay, so these new features are coming in just some days. So follow us on our social media or contact us because in the next days we will be announcing this new version, and of course we have some events to show these new releases. Unfortunately, it was impossible to publish everything on the version A, but we are lucky because the 2022B it's coming in just a few days. Okay. Yeah. So, Marta,
very good.
Do you have any comments here? Any question?
I want to show if you can give me the control back. I want to show BIMserver.center again. Can you see now? Okay.
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to show the people. Well, this is where you can download CYPE Connect Steel, and then you have here this button, which is very useful, and you can find available resources here for the software. So you have the calculation report here. You can download it, and you have also a few videos that will help you understand and learn more about CYPE Connect Steel if you want to test it or if you want to learn more about it. So you have all these available resources here and the manuals and the seminars. So you have everything here if you want to check all the information that we have there. And finally, I just want to put this information back, just so they can, the people that joined the webinar today can see again our names and also my email address, marta.franca@cype.com, and of course the link for BIMserver.center that I already shared, but I will send to anyone anyone that needs the information. They can send me an email and I can send the links to anything they want. If they don't have time to look for it, if they don't know where to find it, they can ask me and I will send the information to them. So yeah, now yes, I've finished.
All right.
So, and also very important, tomorrow, remember that you have this new another webinar about the new features in CYPE in version 22. Yes. If you are interested on it, that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Spain, in English, if you are interested in it. So
remember that with CYPE you can also calculate steel structures. Okay, although in this picture we just have a kind of rebar column or something like that. In CYPE you can calculate reinforced concrete, steel, and wood structures, and we have some new features that are that can be applied to all these kind of structures. Okay, so you are invited to be with us tomorrow. Yeah. I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. We will. Okay. Thank you very much, Alfonso, for your presentation. It's been great. The new features are fantastic. So, and there are more to come. So it's going to be even better. And I just want to thank you everyone for joining us today again.
Thank you, Marta. See you in a next opportunity. It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.